This courtroom moment will leave you shocked. A pregnant woman stands before the judge, but instead of sympathy, she's about to face a harsh reality. Ashley Richards was given chance after chance. The court didn't rush to punish her. In fact, the judge showed leniency, hoping she would follow one simple rule: take her drug tests and stay compliant. But months went by, and she didn't show up. When she finally did, things only got worse. A positive THC test. Then, a suspicious diluted sample. To the court, it wasn't just a mistake anymore, it was a pattern. Her attorney steps in, trying everything to protect her. He argues that she's dealing with a high-risk pregnancy, that she needs care, not jail. For a moment, it seems like the judge might consider it. But then, everything changes. The judge makes it clear, this isn't about excuses anymore. It's about responsibility. No matter the circumstances, the rules were broken again and again. Ashley tries one last time. She reminds the court she's about to give birth soon, hoping for mercy. But the judge isn't backing down. In a tense and emotional decision, the bond is revoked. She's ordered to turn herself in. This isn't just a courtroom story, it's a powerful reminder that actions have consequences, no matter who you are. And what happens next will leave you thinking.
With no bond.
Had a discussion with Ms. Richards. She had expressed some dissatisfaction with my office in general and me specifically. I don't know if she's wishing to ask the court for a new attorney. I do have some information that I can immediately refer to the court, but I didn't want to do that if that's the case, since I wouldn't want to step on a new attorney's toes in terms of what they wanted to do.
And Your Honor, no, regardless of what Ms. Richards' problems are with the public defender, she has failed to report. She's missed several tests starting from February to April 11th, and then was positive on April 17th and April 24th, and she has an active warrant.
As I said, Judge, I have a test as recently as May 2nd that I can provide to the court immediately, along with some other documentation. Again, I just didn't, given the nature of our last conversation, I didn't know quite how to proceed.
Ms. Richards?
Yes.
You haven't been going to testing, according to what I have. I've issued a bench warrant out for no bond. You need to turn yourself into the Washington County Jail. I'm not even addressing the attorney issue at this point.
Your Honor,
you have counsel.
Your Honor, as I said, I have a test from as recently as May 2nd from her primary care physician. She is currently in a high-risk pregnancy. I'd ask the court to take that into consideration here. I would have turned those things in, but for the conversation, and I can do that immediately if the court would wish to give us another date. But given the nature of our conversation, I was between a rock and a hard place.
And if Ms. Richards is a high-risk pregnancy, then why is she testing positive for drugs?
Well, I think that would be between her and her physician.
Today is the 6th.
I'm sorry, Judge.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say this matter's been kind of rendered a little more difficult because she is in Muskegon, and we're here. We did find a testing facility there. There was no sign. It was actually in a law office. We do have some tests directly from her doctor. The crux of this is that there was an offer for use in this matter. This matter was actually charged after it occurred before, but it was charged after she successfully completed probation in Muskegon. I have documentation from Catholic Social Services there that indicates that she did her primary care and then has been continuing with aftercare studiously. That there's that as well. I don't think it's a matter of her trying to flaunt anything, but just there's a distance, there's financial issues, there's medical issues, and there's but I
on January.
But then, the entire courtroom energy shifts in an instant. The judge starts going through every single violation, slowly, one by one, and with each word, it feels like the pressure is closing in. Every missed test, every ignored order, it all starts stacking up, and you can see it, there's no way out of this anymore. What once sounded like explanations now feels like excuses falling apart in real time. Her attorney tries to step in quickly, almost desperately, bringing up her pregnancy, her condition, anything that might soften the situation, but the judge doesn't react. No interruption. No sympathy. Just silence, and that silence says everything. And that's when it hits. This isn't about chances anymore. This isn't about promises. The judge's tone turns cold, controlled, and final, and you can feel it in the air. Something serious is about to happen. The room goes still, all eyes locked in, because everyone realizes the same thing at once. This is the moment where everything changes, and there's no going back.
26, I approved that the defendant could test in Muskegon with results to community corrections. I don't have any results. I've been going back and forth. Mr. Gaddy, all along, and I don't know what her deal with your office. You're the only one that's been keeping her out of jail at this point. We further ordered that she could test in Muskegon. She needed to get the number to us. I signed a specific order that PD's office had done that regarding the modification of the location of her testing. We did that was in late January. We then come through February still, and I don't have any tests. And she has continued not to test. And then I get a report on March 29th. This is some period in time. I still, at that point, don't have any tests. No test, no test, no test. Again, gave her a break. Didn't do it. And then all of a sudden, I get to March 30th. Still don't have any tests. She's not here. And I issue a bench warrant. The bench warrant's been out since March 30th. Again, trying to get tests. Still don't have any tests. Nothing. We've just been continually putting it over. She decides she doesn't want to test. And then I all of a sudden get a test in April that indicates that she's then positive for THC. And then on the 24th of April, that the specimen has been diluted and there's been some adulteration of that specimen test. That was on the April 24th test.
Yes, Your Honor.
We were here on April 27th, and I still don't have tests.
Yes, Your Honor. As I said, I do have a test from May 3rd, from her physician. I can forward that. I believe I also have tests dating back as far as last year that I received this afternoon. I also have a letter from Catholic Social Services. If perhaps, if I'm still on the case, I'd be happy to submit those things. If the court would consider setting this over for Thursday week, which I think is the next preliminary probable cause date, I can certainly send those documents.
Mr. Gaddy, I understand what you're indicating, and you've been trying to make sure to keep her out of jail, to do all of those things. Apparently, she doesn't appreciate that, doesn't appreciate what the court is saying, and wants to make her own rules. That's not how it works. So here's what's going to happen. Her bond is revoked. She needs to appear here. She needs to report to the Washington County Jail by 6 p.m. on the 17th of May. That is tomorrow. Otherwise, a bench warrant will issue.
Your Honor.
With no bond.
Your Honor, can I say something?
You can say whatever you like.
I am due on June 5th, and they're taking me on May 28th to have my baby. And I have been testing. I have tested since I had that diluted screen.
I don't have any tests.
Your Honor, as I said, I can send those tests to the court. This is a unique situation. Had conversations. Well, anyways, as I said, I didn't want to do anything. If there was going to be new counsel, I didn't want to do anything that, it's kind of like do no harm.
Submitted to the judge.
I'm sorry?
I thought you submitted all those papers to the judge, you and Camille, because I've been working with Camille through your office too.
Okay. As I said, Judge, I can certainly put this together as a package and send it to the court. However, there have been some issues that have come up. But if I'm going to stand that case, I would request the opportunity to do that. And before we take the drastic step of, there's already a bench warrant, but before I would just ask for an opportunity to do that and ask the court to extend us to.
I'm going to keep my ruling the same. Her bond's revoked. If you want to send something in, you can send it to Ms. Kirby. I will be more anymore. We're going to play by mine. I've been as lenient as I possibly can, and I'm not going to sit here and be taken advantage of. Defendant's ordered to report to the Washington County Jail, 6 p.m. tomorrow. She doesn't report, that bench warrant goes back out, plain and simple. If you want to submit something before in between time, if you guys patch up your differences and she lets you do that, that's fine. Then I'll look at it and see what I can do. But otherwise, that's my order. That's the order that will stand.
Did you say?
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Judge. Just for my clarification, did you say by close of business tomorrow?
She's got to report to the jail by 6 p.m. tomorrow. All right. That's what I'm ordering. If you want to submit something to me before then I'll be more than happy to take a look at it and hear from you and the prosecutor on it. But otherwise, that's my order.
Thank you.
This courtroom scene is intense, and it's about to get real. Ashley Richards, a pregnant woman, faces the judge after repeatedly ignoring court orders for drug testing. Despite being given multiple chances, she missed months of testing, later tested positive for THC, and even submitted a suspicious diluted sample. The tension is high, the stakes are huge, and the courtroom is waiting for a decision that could change everything. Then, everything begins to unravel. The judge goes through every single violation, one by one, and with each word, the weight of the situation grows. Every missed test, every ignored order, it all adds up. Her attorney jumps in, almost desperately, citing her high-risk pregnancy and medical documents, anything to soften the outcome, but the judge doesn't waver. No sympathy, no interruptions. Just a firm reminder that actions have consequences. The room is tense, silent, and you can feel it. This is the moment where everything shifts, and there's no turning back. In the end, the judge makes it clear, rules are rules. Despite all the arguments, Ashley is ordered to report to jail. It's a tough, emotional moment that leaves the courtroom silent. This isn't just a story about one person, it's a reminder that choices have consequences. And as the hearing ends, one thing is certain, this is a moment Ashley, and everyone watching, will never forget.